We can start with constituent input. And y'all welcome our guests. Anybody have anything they want to say this morning? Robert?
I'd like to thank Rose for taking care of a problem that said they couldn't take care of since '84 that got done in a day. So you just gotta go to the right person to get the action. And you know, on the water, I don't have any wells, and I would rather have less water during the year, but I'd like it earlier in the year. I'd rather have
We're working on that.
I'd rather pay for what the river eats, because, you know, if you don't have a well, you're sort of stranded.
I understand that. I understand that. So we're working on that, and I think Alan too has been in contact. The big problem with that is with Alvin Butte. So.
Yeah, I understand.
And so anyway, we're working. It behooves us all. I mean, we all want that.
Right.
Anybody else? Anybody have anything else to say? Okay. Do you? Item number 3 is engagement later with David Fuller. Jim, you want to?
David's not going to be able to come. His case, they were testifying and carried over.
Okay.
And I'll talk with you at the closed session.
Okay, closed session. Okay. Morning, Mr. Driving. All right, next thing on the agenda is the Comanche Trail Pipeline, fiber optic pipeline. I'm going to recuse myself or excuse myself, and y'all call me back. I'll sign one of those deals. Okay.
Okay.
You take over, Mr. Driving.
You got it. Okay. Get my eyeballs on here. Number 4. Comanche Trail Pipelines LLC, fiber optic line and pipeline. Okay. Jim, are you gonna talk about it? Should we gonna talk
Well, I
about it?
assume that you're going to go into closed session since it involves both threatened litigation and the real property of the district. I will, for the record, hand to you at this time an email I received from the attorney who represents Comanche Trail Pipeline. His name is Mr. James Freeman. He's a very good, experienced attorney. And he sent this to me yesterday, so I offer that for attachment to the minutes. But again, that should be part of the discussion, I think, in closed session.
Okay, I don't see this listed on closed sessions.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I apologize for that. We failed to, and Sharon and I didn't have a chance to talk to you this morning. We failed to get it posted properly for that. But I think that after the board meeting, at the board's letter, if they want to form the executive committee to discuss these things, that would be fine.
Okay. So it's not on the closed meeting agenda, so.
No, I apologize. There was a
Jim, we're gonna have
typo that kept it from being put on.
We can have an executive meeting with them after the meeting.
Well, you can move it routinely. Any item that deals with real estate that's on your open agenda can be moved for consideration in the closed agenda.
Yeah, that's the language we failed to.
We can do that, can we?
No,
It's not specifically mentioned, it's the others were specifically mentioned.
We made a mistake, and,
Well, it doesn't stop us from having a meeting after the meeting.
right, we put the executive with only no more than 2 board members. And we can reschedule another meeting and get it
Why
done
don't
right,
we do that?
if you want to.
All right, let's do that. Gentlemen, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to, we'll have a meeting after the meeting.
I don't understand, what you're saying is, since you've not indicated that you may consider item 4 in closed session, you think you're unable to go into closed session?
I'm only saying that because if you see on our closed session, Jim, it says, it does not show the,
No, that's where we want to deliver. They made a trip, especially for, at my invitation.
okay.
So let's.
Well, I'm not dismissing, I'm just saying we need to meet after the meeting. It's not specifically mentioned on number 2 of the closed meeting. It says agenda item 7, 12, or 13.
And agenda item
Number
7, the typo that was made, 7 is not, it has to do with the reports by Rose, by the tax assessor. That item will not be discussed in closed session, and it's just the wrong number. If it had been 4, then everything would have been fine,
see
I
what
think it's
it
a
is.
technical-
Yeah.
So it's just a technical thing, I think.
Yeah,
But
well, yeah.
I don't feel comfortable, the way it's posted, that I think we're better off after our meeting. And who all hear from them? Are y'all three?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna have a meeting with two of us board members a little later to discuss y'all's
Okay.
stuff, okay?
Okay.
It's just a little technical glitch, it looks like, but I don't feel comfortable discussing it
Yeah.
in our closed session. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, you don't have to leave, y'all are welcome to stay, this is an open meeting for
Oh,
all
okay.
matters that are on our
Okay.
agenda, so we're not throwing you out of this meeting, you're perfectly welcome to sit
Okay.
here in the
Well,
audience.
this name at 1:30. But, on the other hand, on David Fuller.
Yeah, if y'all have a set time that y'all feel comfortable with, we can let them know.
Yeah, we had, I think, Jay had contacted Gary and we had scheduled it for 1:30.
Okay, gentlemen, sorry about that, but we'll.
No, that's okay.
We'll be with y'all at 1:30.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
I'll call Johnny back in.
Yeah,
Nettie.
yeah, they can sit there, sure. By the way, y'all are welcome to sit like Mr. Spears said. Okay.
Were you on nice or what? I don't know why they can't stay.
They thought that.
This is the highlight.
The next item is going over our minutes too, without one of the
Well, of course. Have you all done Roadrunner too?
Nothing.
Johnny?
Yeah.
This is from Scott Boyd, yesterday.
That guy's got more money than his brains. Holy moly.
He's a stockbroker, by the way, the Dow was down a while ago.
Yeah,
Opening at
huge.
400 points.
Okay, so we're on item 5, right? You covered
I mean, look, we covered,
both items in
oh,
both.
we actually only covered,
They said there wasn't nothing to talk about, so.
okay, on Roadrunner, nothing to do, okay. Then yes, we've,
All right.
Of course, if you don't want to.
The minutes of 11/18 board meeting, that's November.
I think we want to talk about it.
We didn't have one in December, so it's November, right? And December?
I saw it somewhere.
Oh, we didn't have one in.
Yeah, that's,
No, we didn't have one in December.
well, then they'll.
Okay, you all have the minutes in your packet, item number 5. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
There's no question or anything, I just move that we approve.
As presented, okay. It's been moved and seconded. Mr. Spear, we're trying to conduct a meeting.
He can be impeached.
Impeach me, that'd be the best thing to ever happen. I have a motion to put to the floor, been moved and seconded, we approve the minutes as presented. Do you have any problem with it? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. All right, Mary, you're on. Got reports from 2 months.
Yes. November and December. On our investment reports, there was a certificate of deposit that renewed for the month of December. And we come up with that one, we go to,
I can't hear you, but excuse me, I'm sorry, Mary.
on our investment report, there was a certificate of deposit that had matured. This happened in the month of December.
Okay.
All others coming due are in the month of February, and at that time, we can consider, of course, as always, renewing or increasing as well. We're hoping to receive payment with PSB at the end of the month, and also with all the tax payments that are due January 31st.
Is that why we have such a lot of money, so much money? Are we looking at the balance report or balance sheet? Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway. We're going to the balance sheet right now, or no?
We're on November,
That's
right?
no report for the month of November.
For the
we
month
got-
of
We
November.
got $2.2 million, so is that why it's so much in cash?
2.2 on the balance sheet, we have 1.8 on the
1.8.
checking account.
Are you in November?
Am I in November? I'm in November.
Go back to your other sheet.
2.2 total.
Total.
Total cash with everything.
Do we normally keep that much money in cash? Or do we try to put it in a?
We do try to put it in the CD, yes. I am waiting for the end of this month.
No, that's what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
You know, as far as the CDs too, we had a little raise in interest rates the first time in a long time. But I wouldn't expect CD rates to go up much for a while.
Correct. The one that matured in the month of December is pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah, well, we just got the increase, but sometimes it reflects real quick on the CDs, but I don't expect it will.
I got 0. I just got one reviewed January
For
1.
zero?
0 increase. Same.
Well, yeah, no.
Same as the last.
Well, once you got 0,
That's gotta be
well,
rough.
that's better than mine, they charged me.
Yeah.
It's
Well, they
lower
charged
than
me
mine.
too.
I think that's still to farming or,
Yeah. Yeah. But guess what, my operating load went up that quarter, you know, Fed Rand's quarter, I got the notice, your operating load was going up a quarter. Here's what you're saving, the part you got the 0.1. Well,
Right.
why didn't
That's
I
what
get
say.
0.25 on
I was
that?
just telling Mary what little I know about it,
Yeah.
it's probably not gonna follow very quickly.
Well, your famous bank is the one that gave me my 0.
They gave you that much? Let me call them.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mary, we interrupted you again, go ahead.
Are there any questions on the balance sheet or the cash flow report?
For November.
For November,
Okay.
which is the first month of the fiscal year. as well.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, I gotta get used to that, it is
Yes.
the first of the year. Okay. And your $500 check report in November, did anybody see any funds with that?
we bought some equipment, I'm assuming.
Yes, we did.
Laboratory roller.
We went to that auction, and I bought that thing for half price, or more, maybe.
Beach renting. It adds up, because we never stopped using that.
We've got the roller, and then we got two cherry pickers that Pete calls them.
Brand
Skylights.
new stuff.
So the tree squirrels down where I come from. Tree squirrel.
All right.
So that's a savings of how much, do you think? If you were to buy it?
Just on the roller, the new roller that we were able to purchase, we got it for half the price. We saved about, I think we estimated $56,000 that we had ordered when.
4270, that well being Glaze Company, one in the business, yeah, brand new.
It's gonna go. Yeah, it's working real good. He did a really
Okay,
good piece.
I guess that, anybody have any questions of the $500 check report? If not, I guess we're going to November. Let the record show, well, we'll approve all of it.
For the month of December, I did include the final page on the cash net revenue report. I had to include the capital purchases that we made for the month of November and December. So you'll see on, that I've set down the last page of the net revenue report. That includes that correction.
And there's all on the first one. All right, so we got started off on the right foot with that deal.
On the credit card report, just for your all's information, the professional development, that includes the travel that Pete, myself, and the mechanic did to Houston and then to Fort Stockton. And then it also includes, we scheduled Jim for a school this coming end of this month.
It's the end of this month, December or November? 5/3 there.
That's November. Uh-huh. And that's why it's, the professional development shows so high. We had, and then we scheduled Pete for the World of Concrete also that's coming up in Las Vegas that he's going to.
The World of Concrete.
Uh-huh.
In Las Vegas.
It'll be your second trip, Pete, or third?
My third trip.
Had a hard time talking him into that one.
You got hooked into your pilot feet.
Yes. I'm gonna take a shotcrete class up there, so.
Good for you.
That's what they used to do back in the old days when the mob ran it.
Yeah.
They used to do that. Put on your feet when you didn't pay your gambling debts.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
He says he's not a gambler.
If he's going to Las Vegas, he's gambling. Just being there is a gamble.
I would just add, on this credit card report, everybody's got professional development except Mary, so either we're working her too hard or she's not getting there something.
She's already professional.
Well, the only ones that set up the travel is either Lisa, Sharon through me. So that's the
So
way
we
we
need
work.
to get more training for you, Mary. You don't have no professional development coming out here.
She's already professional.
She's already got.
Actually, she is scheduled for another school.
This time,
Any other questions of Mary?
Well, Art's got one.
I just added her.
what classes do you do?
Okay, great. See, she's working. She's almost got that CPA. Check accounts, is that, are we on checks in
It's
December?
gonna be, yeah.
Well, I just want to ask, this Mitchell One truck data subscription. What in the world is that? That keeps you informed of all the Ritchie auctions or something like that? Or
Which one is that, Doc?
it's on page 2 of 5 in December check report.
In December?
Yes, it says Mitchell One. It's the 1, 2, 3, 4th day.
That is
the
the
mechanics.
subscription for Albert's Hot Seal, for all the equipment. It's for maintenance purposes.
That's where he tracks all the maintenance through his computer on.
Like an
Oh, okay. It's a software type deal that,
Right.
okay.
Shows you the maintenance and parts and
Right.
specific detail.
And I
Is
just heard
it
this.
software, or is it interactive where they help you do things, or both? Both.
Wow. Okay. Then on the next page, I see United Vision, but I think that's been explained to me. That's the freight, get the stuff back here.
Yes.
United Vision Logistics. It's no longer freight, it's a transportation service fee. Okay. The page 4, the next page, professional document systems. That's something to do with our, is that our QuickBooks? or what
That's
is it?
our record management.
Is it what?
Our record management, we're gonna start scanning our documents, digital form.
Okay. And is that for, like a year's charge, or what?
This is actually for the software, the equipment, the installation. It also covers scanning our contracts, our agreements, and it will be covering accounting also.
Okay.
And it's a budgeted item.
Okay. I vaguely, yeah, I remember now that what you said it that way, I understood it.
What is it? Truck data subscription. It's 42,782. I do not understand.
It's a computer software that the mechanics have, and it helps them with finding, troubleshooting if they're having a certain problem with a certain piece of equipment. And it also gives them a documentation of servicing of all the equipment that we have.
Like a computer?
It's a software for the computer.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of database and online services, so you can get manuals and
Right.
schematics and wiring diagrams.
Yeah, one more. The American Machine Tools line boring machine, we bought a line boring machine. Was that budgeted, I guess?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Where do you use that, Pete?
To redo the bones and the front structure of the excavators and the backhoes, we usually send it out to SNS Welding, but it's a lot cheaper when we do it ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's to do repairs on the excavators and anything that's got any type of swinging motion or anything like that.
Okay. And I have one more on the next page, 5 of 5. It's just sign up pay. Where did we do? Is that like ATMs we got sitting around here somewhere?
No,
Credit
those
card
are
terminals?
Credit card machines that we use up front in the tax office to.
Oh, the little
pay.
things that,
Correct.
okay. And they cost,
Oh,
wow.
we get paid for it though. Every time you do a transaction.
Yes, you do
it's-
charge
it's-
3%.
You just charge 3%, therefore, that's what this pays for this.
There's a 3% surcharge on any credit card transactions that.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
That the taxpayer pays, and then we have to pay that to the,
You pay some of that per, yeah, that's.
there may be like a $12 a month fee for the terminal.
And Mr. Ivy, this is one of our other methods that we receive payment. It has increased
The,
payments by credit card. Yes, sir.
so when people walk in now, you can say,
And by.
And by
That
phone?
too. And by phone also.
okay, all right.
So, yeah, so it's sort of self-paying.
Okay, any other questions? The legal and consulting fees budgets were there too. Did you all have any questions of that? Before- Let the record show we reviewed all that stuff. The quarterly investment report, we need to have a motion to, we need to approve that officially, right?
Yes.
So we all look at it.
Both months or?
It's the last quarter financial report, so period ending December 31st. Item number D.
I move to accept the quarterly investment report.
Okay, here's where all your stuff is. Got $1,506,000 in the bank right at the end of December. I have a motion to approve it. Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
And there are seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Rose?
Good morning
Good morning.
and happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Our first item, we have reviewed tax report and adjustments. We have no adjustments for the month of November.
Wonderful. Yeah, we'll start next month. People start figuring out, I don't know this.
Exactly, yes,
Or don't want to pay.
You're correct. Our next item we have is the 2013 through 2015 El Paso Public Service Board leases. As of November 9, 2015, we've collected $112,900 in processing fees. That represents 1,129 leases and collected in delinquent taxes, $26,864.32.
That's a total since we started, right?
Yes, sir.
That's 13.
This is a running total since we started in 2013.
It's amazing.
It has been a successful project.
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir.
It really has. It really has.
And then we have our public, Lower Valley Water District assignments. I went ahead and included this report so you'll know that we also have activity from Lower Valley Water District. Just to let you know, they do not pay delinquent taxes.
You know, if they would do that, that thing would triple
Yes, sir.
or more.
I agree with you. Exactly. At this point, we had processed 309 leases, collected $30,900 in processing fees.
I don't understand, Jody, what you just said. Why don't they,
That's their prerogative. They
Oh, they don't
the
have-
Public
They
Service
got it.
Board pay any arrear taxes and pay the money on these, they don't do that.
They
They're
got-
just- they're
they're
just-
but they still get the water?
Hmm? Yeah, I mean, but the problem is the taxpayers, if they can get somebody to pay their taxes, they'll go for the deal.
Sure.
If not, you have to bring them up before, you have to pay the taxes before that you can transfer them to Lower Valley. The Public Service Board pay the taxes. These guys won't, and there's probably 10 times as many in Lower Valley in that condition as there are in El Paso.
So if I understand, these,
Right, Rose?
these that are collected, somebody paid those back.
Yeah,
The
man.
property owner.
Yeah, okay, I got you. And what you're saying is, sure, if they offered that, they get tons
But
of.
they get, look how many we got over here, and there, and people in that specific category, there's probably 10 times as many in the Lower Valley Water District
Yeah.
as there is in El Paso,
Okay.
what little left of El Paso. But they still won't consider it.
My understanding, Public Service Board was waiting for Lower Valley Water District to get a general manager in place, which they have.
Yeah, he's been there
And we
over a year.
give them a call a couple of times and nothing has happened.
Who's the general manager?
Jack Alayan?
Alaya.
Yeah.
Jack Ali.
I've only met him one time. Okay, well, that's a great program, keep up the good work.
Thank you. Our next item is a comparison between 2014, 2015 tax assessment. December 2014, we were at 6.9074%. Presently, we would be at 6.5007. We're trailing a bit. The money's coming in.
You know, what was the final total between 14 and 13?
I can get you those amounts.
You don't remember? I mean, we
And
were
not
close
recall,
to
I do
about,
have those reports, yes, sir.
did we come out pretty close? More this year, I mean 14?
I think we topped 14 over 13.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
that's what I
Definitely,
did,
at
a
the
little
end,
bit.
yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did
That's
about that.
because of that program, probably,
Yes.
more than anything. If Lower Valley would get their act
Yeah,
together.
if you want per month, I can provide that
No,
information.
that's all right, I just
Your
wondered
notes.
how we finished up there, because that was the comparison we saw
Yes.
before. And I remember it was very close, but that, if we top 14, top 13, that's all.
Yes, we
Doesn't matter
definitely
the
did.
amount, so.
Yes, sir. And then we have our last listing on tax suits. We have no accounts paid in full. And no accounts were dismissed. And that's for this month. Let's do next time.
We appreciate it, keep
Well,
up the
I
good
got one
work.
more month, Mr. Spice.
Pardon me?
I got one more month.
Oh, you do? Until December.
One more month.
Okay, dang it, thought I'd get away with it. Is that why it says December?
Yes, sir. There were no tax adjustments. And then our next item would be the El Paso Public Service Board 2013 through 2015 assignments. We have processed 1,138 leases, collected 113,800 in processing fees, and then delinquent taxes, $28,981.02.
Okay, Rose, real quick, now that I'm a little more familiar with it, if you go up on, like, on that sheet you're looking at, line 23, 4, 5, 6, they're all blank on the delinquent taxes. What does that mean?
That means that the taxes were paid
By
by the property owner.
Okay. Yeah, I'm understanding this a little better. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Next one we have is the 2015 Lower Valley Water District assignments. We have received 309 leases, totaling 30,900 in processing fees, and no delinquent taxes. Our next item is the comparison between 2014, 2015 tax assessment. December, I'm sorry, our next one would be January 2015, we were at 38.4755%. We are at 34.9795%. We are trailing. What we're gonna start doing, actually today, we are starting calling the property owners, remind them to pay before the end of the month to avoid 7% penalties. Next report is our tax suits. Again, we have no accounts paid in full. And no accounts were released. No accounts dismissed.
And now, okay, Roy.
Okay.
Good work.
Thank you.
Yeah, let the record show that we reviewed items 7, 8, and C, and E. All right, Chewy, you're on.
Okay. Guess we want to start off discussing the, what we have as far as project water. And I included what Bert's draft allocation is for January. 111,000 for us, 122,000 for EBID, 18,000 for Mexico. And the total for usable water that we have is 334,000 at present.
Yeah, there's, on that, so the allocation committee hasn't, I know we're sort of gonna go out of sync on the agenda, so my part on the allocation committee. The allocation committee has not met, so there's no allocations that have been made at this time. We know that one of the numbers that's in that sheet is in error. There's probably two numbers in error, or aren't accurate. But one of them doesn't affect us, and that would be the diversion ratio, so EBID's allocation probably would move down a little bit. And has to do with the multi-year drought correction. Bill hadn't given, one that doesn't bother me, that doesn't really affect our 111. The one that does is two, Albuquerque Reclamation hasn't made the estimate of combat credits for January.
What kind of credit?
Well,
Compact.
compact credits, we have compact credits.
Compact. I thought you said
He
compact.
did say combat.
It is combat. It is
Well, it's
combat.
likely become that way.
That's a proper description, but I didn't know what it was.
I'll wet my lips.
Okay,
Put on my gloves, one of the two. So, we're a little bit, you know, how there's some issues with that, and how that performs, about how much of that water actually went by auto leak, so how much we get credit for out of that. But they went ahead, and which we've always done, is assume that we get credit for all of it. And we said the reservoir left that. And then we also have the engineers advisors met last week.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, that number for last year's estimate of the credit analysis didn't get put in. And so there's some fine tuning. Probably, I would estimate that the difference to us is probably someplace in the order of 10,000 acre feet at the most.
Plus or minus.
Yeah, plus or probably minus.
Minus, you think?
Well, it's hard to say. It may be zero. It could be as much as 10,000 minus. I don't think it'll be plus, because we've already sort of assumed that the numbers are right. There's a possibility there could be a plus from last year's credit if there's some, I don't think.
Engineering advisor meeting question, since Herman Setmeyer retired, who represented Texas
Curtis.
only? Okay.
So it's, you know, I apologize for not, all those numbers not coming in just in time for this meeting. We'll be here for the February meeting, or they might be here within a week. And so we'll regenerate it in a week, but there's that potential adjustment. And, you want me to just go ahead and go over the forecast?
Yeah, might as well.
Sorry.
Wait, Al, real quick on line 12 and 13, the previous year shows some down, then all of a sudden 14, 15, end of the year goes to zero? What does that mean?
You're on that's on the draft allocation.
Yeah, on the draft allocation sheet.
Which number line to the left has got
There's
number?
number 14, 15, well, 12 to 13 shows a balance of some sort, then all of a sudden 14, 15 end of year. What is, oh, that's previous year, end of previous year, right?
Right, this is
Okay,
16,
never
so
mind.
that would be 15.
Okay, good, because I was sitting there going, wait a minute, we had that, then we had zero, okay.
That's our carryover.
Yeah,
You can see that our carryover is a significant part of this year's allocation.
Okay.
They had some too.
Yeah.
Okay, you got 319,912 usable water right now, right? Right, that's correct.
No, that's one I was just talking about. We haven't, this is a draft.
Yeah.
So there's two major things that are in the draft that we don't know for certain right now. That's probably EBID's allocation because of the multi-year drought correction. And then the other one is the amount of compact credit water for both last year and for what's coming in right now. We don't have those numbers final. The last year's not finalized, or we don't even have the estimate coming out of the advisors yet. and then they haven't done the January analysis, it's too early. Those affect the usable water. That's, the usable water is a defined term in the compact.
Is it fair to ask what your best guesstimate would be?
Yeah, it's that number, I think that is our best at this point.
It's a conservative number, you think, right?
I think there's a slight chance it could go up a few thousand acre
Right,
feet,
but-
and there's a chance it could go down by 2,000.
Let's say for the sake of discussion that this is correct.
Right. Yeah, that's all we can go on
Let's just say
right
it's
now.
correct.
It's the best number we have at this time.
Where was it last year?
We can pull up that sheet, I think we looked at
I
that
was curious,
yesterday.
what was the percentage?
It was probably last year, it was about 100,000 less, or 50,000 less.
About 100,000 less. Last year at this time, we had, of usable water, we had 264,600, according to the Bureau of Reclamation. And right now, this is this morning's report, we have 354,676.
So you think maybe like 40% more?
Yeah, if you look at the carryover, what the two districts carry over, that's really the biggest change. We
Okay.
actually put water in the reservoir, left water in the reservoir last year, for various reasons.
Good, well, we're trending in the right direction, that's what we wanted to make sure.
Well, I think
Well,
what
it
you,
depends on the snowfall in western
Well, yeah,
Colorado.
but we're a lot better than we were last year.
Which in
And then-
turn depends upon, excuse me,
Yeah.
snow melt. You know, the snow melt occurs in April, May. June, it tapers off. But the compact is not what we receive as our share from the operating agreement. The operating agreement divides the water between the two districts. So Al is approximating it, based, I'm sure, on what he sees, partly in the snowpack right now, but
no, this
is
has no
actual.
snowpack analysis.
This is
No
actual.
snowpack.
This is just
This
what
is the actual, but if I remember correctly, last year, like, you didn't have no snowpack, it was like gloom and doom.
Yeah, I'm gonna
This
show you,
year,
I'm about ready to show you that.
This year, I believe you got, actually, the snow fell on this side, on the right side of the mountain.
Yeah, let me,
But I-
anyway, and Jim's right on some of these issues, you gotta separate them out, because one's forecasting, and I'm not, we're about ready to go into forecasting mode here. This is, I just want you guys to know, as we sit today with our best estimates, and there's reasons why those aren't quite as good as I'd hoped. In a week, they'll be much better, but, not a huge difference. We have the amount of inflow into the reservoir, not counting our carryover, is just slightly better than it was last year.
1,500.
Yeah, that's about right, if you take out what we purposely saved. There's been a lot of talk about how great it is, and how great the reservoir is, and all this other stuff. It is not, from a hydrologic point of what's in your hand right now, what's available to us, it's not that much different than it was last year. What is different is both districts carried over water and saved water for use this year, so that helps. Some of that evaporated, but not very much.
Which is why there's probably more water in it this year than.
That is, it's almost exclusive. So then the next good positive thing, so that's a positive, next positive thing is that the snow is above average. There's been significant added moisture. This is probably as important as the snow, is that we've had rain events, and one reason we were able to get to this number, we were a little bit behind, believe it or not, was because the low elevation snow that we had 2 weeks ago all melted and ran off, and we're producing quite a bit of water right now, and the ground was wet. So that's good, the watershed's wet, the mountains are getting more snow, we're seeing some strange, atypical events in terms of temperature. In other words, we saw the snow come down and then just disappear, you know, at the levels at the peaks, it hasn't. You gotta remember, at the peaks, it looks really great. Look back at everything when they talk about, 240 inches. You gotta be real careful at the ski resort, because some of that's man-made snow there that they're talking about. So you have to look at the snow-tell station over the pass and on doing that, but it's still good. But you also have to remember, just thinking about the mountain, where that really heavy snow is a very small area. And what really produces us is the stuff that's down by Creed and then that 8,000, the much bigger surface area. That stuff snowed, accumulated, and melted, which is normally this time of year, you don't see that. So that's a climate change issue on doing it. Hopefully, Phil and I haven't quite, either of us had time to analyze that the compact credits are gonna work out okay because of that. I think they are. We're hoping.
Do they let you you and Phil involved in that compact county?
Historically, Herman, we had requested numerous times to attend, to observe, and Herman never,
They always did it, they always do it behind closed doors.
the state, New Mexico invites. The engineering advisor can invite guests as he wishes,
Mhm.
but we've never been invited.
Can we invite ourselves?
No.
Can we
No, we-
oppose ourselves?
Actually,
We have.
we tried,
We didn't do it this year.
Well, let's keep doing it.
2 years ago, we tried and they said, no, this is our
Yeah,
meeting.
we probably should have tried this year.
I was wondering, I didn't realize they'd met this quick, but they always do, I guess, but.
It's the preliminary, so they can get ready for the March meeting. Sometimes they meet in
Well,
February.
I know, but they have to have an engineering advisory report for the March meeting, so
Right.
their report's very damn critical.
Right.
Is Curtis an engineer?
No, that's my question beginning.
So the snow which is up there, right, I think all you got this report, we usually email it out. It's a few days old, but it's still, there's been no big event. You can see the Sangay de Cristo Basin has the largest amount, 147% of normal. We've been below normal for many years, so this is great. We're above normal. The most production, I think 56%, I believe is the number that we look at, is Upper Rio Grande, the one that's in Colorado. So it dominates, but it is above normal, but it's the lowest of the three basins that contribute. Cham is the next biggest contributor, and the least is Sangre. Sometimes you'll see the Jemez Basin. It is actually part of our watershed, but the amount of water, even a good year coming out of the Jemez, is so low. It's in the noise, the air. So I never even, it doesn't really matter that much. I think in a really good year, the Jemez might produce 3% of our water.
Only if they have a big flood up there.
Yeah, and then some of that's actually coming out of the arroyos, not the mountains, but, not setting that up. So Wolf, there's the chart of Wolf Creek. You can see last year, just what Miguel was saying, here we were last year, way down, and here we are above. This is the curve that we would have liked to be above last year, and we were significantly below on saying that. Jim's right, the majority, this is the snow melt here, this blue line where we see it dive off. That's, you know, when we see how we had an early snow melt up in the mountains last year too, and we've had, this year, we, at the lower elevation, this is high up in the mountains. This is at one of the highest spots in the watershed. So you won't see the snow melt that we saw last week in the lower elevations in this chart, but there was one. You can see a little bit of it right here, even at the high elevations where our curve went down for 2 days, which is, I know that doesn't sound very significant to you guys there, but that is like something that's never happened at this time of year before. That we've never, at Wolf Creek Pass, and I know some of you have been up there and know how high that elevation is. It's what, 11,000 or 10,500 at the pass. It's pretty high. And we actually had some of the surface snow melting a couple of weeks ago. So, anyways, we're back to accumulating snow now, so that's good. Historically, if you looked at the snow melt that happened, really the peak happened in early July. It was later, and so now it's moving. That snow melt's moving. Yeah, moving back early and earlier each year.
And less and less.
And it's
Less
not,
and less,
and
yeah.
it's not evaporating like it was last year.
You know, some of that might have been sublimation if the winds were high enough, and we see that problem. We've always seen that problem. Typically, we see that in April and May, when the winds come up and everything changes. We start getting those big windstorms. They're pretty terrific up there, and that's always an issue. We've always worried about it historically, but I don't know if sublimation is going to be worse. The models say that it should be worse, the climate models. And so that means that the sublimation, what that is when it doesn't even melt, it just goes straight from the snow to the atmosphere because of the dry, very low humidity in the winds coming out of California, some other end down the Rockies.
Everybody's talked about El Nino. We haven't talked about it at least not today. Is that a factor that's going to be added into the equation?
Yeah, that's what we're in right now. That's the reason for this increased. The temperature abnormalities in the Pacific are the reason that they, at least be claimed by the Weather Service for all this
Is
additional.
there a
moisture.
model you can follow based on the previous?
There's about 4 models that are out there, and the Weather Service runs them all, and in fact, there's a website just for them, for the National Weather Service and NOAA, just dedicated to El Nino.
But you're not gonna use that as in the equation, right? Or you could
Oh,
use-
we've never, it's almost impossible to use it. They're predicting now that it should start to dissipate this summer. So they predict, if you use their model, they would predict that we would have less monsoonal rain. It's a long-term, relatively long-term model, and we'd have less monsoons this year. I talked to Phil about that yesterday, and I said, Phil, I'm gonna assume the monsoons are gonna be the same as they were last year, and we don't know what it, and they don't know. You gotta remember, I mean, one that struck me really solid was the 2006 floods. I think you guys, everybody remembers that. We had an event that had, what, 21 inches in a day or something in one location, one small location on the watershed. Huge storm event, way above normal during and the El Nino model predicted that it would be drier than normal during that time period.
So much for that model.
Yeah, well, it's a result of multiple models.
The El Nino has effects, definitely. It's,
Oh, no,
you
it
never know where
Yeah.
and how much, that's the case. I mean, like this year, I would assume that a big bunch of the extreme weather events that we've had out here were caused by, but we missed them, they hadn't gone on us. I mean, if we'd had some of those 20-inch rains and stuff that they had over